welcome to Anne's Family Recipe. Today we're making pudding pops and yogurt bark.
School year, Emma was watching her computer at school and she saw this recipe for yogurt bark that you make in the freezer. And she asked me if we could make that, and I said absolutely, but I wanted to add another frozen treat to the mix too. And I have never made pudding pops before. Excuse us here. I've never made pudding pops before, so I thought we would throw that into the mix too. So the first thing we have to do actually is prepare our instant pudding. So we have a box of vanilla instant pudding, and Emma has chocolate, and Claire has Emma's hair. And we're gonna add 2 cups of milk to each box of pudding mix and whisk it up. And I think I mentioned this is instant, so this should set up pretty quickly. And then we'll put this into our popsicle molds. Now I think I'm gonna try, did you wanna try some s'mores pudding pops too?
Yeah.
So what could we add to that to make it s'mores?
Like maybe like some graham cracker crumbs and like marshmallows, maybe into the pudding mixture, and then we can freeze it so the marshmallows might be like a little chewy.
Yeah, I think that would be really good. Okay, so let's get going.
Come here, Claire.
Release, release.
She wants to be part of it. Mom, I throw with milk. My arm's getting sore. It smells delicious.
Okay, so while our pudding sets up, we're gonna make the yogurt bark, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you've never heard of chocolate bark, you take melted chocolate and kind of spread it out in a thin layer, and you can sprinkle all different kinds of toppings on it. And then once it hardens, you break it apart kind of into these random pieces. And it makes a great gift, and of course, it's an awesome treat. So Emma saw a video on YouTube during the school year about yogurt bark. So what are we gonna use to make that?
So we're gonna use any yogurt, like either like plain or vanilla. We chose vanilla.
Exactly, and this is my favorite kind from Aldi. It's their whole milk yogurt, and I usually get plain, but we thought we'd do the vanilla today just for a little added sweetness. You could also get the plain, and what can you mix into it to sweeten it up?
You can add like honey or like other sweet things, like that are like liquids.
Yes, and then what are our toppings today?
So we have freeze-dried strawberries, and we have blueberries, and we also have chocolate chips.
And I got coconut granola too. So I think we're gonna combine the freeze-dried strawberries and the chocolate chips. That's for me because I have a sweet tooth. And then we're also gonna do a slightly more breakfasty version with the fresh blueberries and the coconut granola. For our setup, we have a rimmed baking sheet, and then what do we put on top of it?
A silicone baking mat.
And what's that going to help with?
So it won't stick.
Exactly.
It'll just like come off in like one big piece.
Okay, we hope. But so yeah, we have a silicone baking mat here. If you don't have that, you could use probably parchment paper or wax paper. I think those are good alternatives. But you definitely want something, a little layer in between the bark and the cookie tray so that it doesn't freeze right to the cookie sheet. Okay, so we're gonna open up our whole milk vanilla yogurt. And I'm gonna have Emma, I looked up some recipes. It said use about 2 cups. We're just gonna kind of spread a thin layer over our surface here. It doesn't have to be exact. You wanna put a couple scoops kind of in the middle, and then we'll spread them out. I'm just gonna use my hands to gently press these toppings into the yogurt just so they definitely stick as it's freezing. For the other half, we're going to use freeze-dried strawberries, which I found at Aldi, and they're really yummy because they have a very intense strawberry flavor. And then, but you could also use fresh strawberries if you wanted to and dice them up. And then we're going to use semi-sweet chocolate chips too. Our yogurt bark is going in the freezer for a few hours. Some recipes say about 3 to 4 hours. We'll just wait until it's totally solid and then we can break it apart and give it a taste test.
Is it good?
So good.
Is it cold?
Yeah, what kind of yogurt is this guy?
Vanilla. Like whole milk vanilla yogurt. Whoa, Ben got a big piece. Do you like it, buddy? So the yogurt bark is very delicious. I love all the flavor combinations we put together. The only thing is it melts very quickly in your hands. It started out frozen solid, but you want to eat it in small pieces because it melts fast from the warmth of your hands.
For our pudding popsicles, I'm using these ZOKU popsicle molds. If I can find them, I will link them for you down below. They work very well, and they're supposed to freeze fairly quickly too, which is nice. It's sort of like a traditional shape, and it comes with the handle with this little part that pops on and off, but it kind of catches any drips, right?
Yeah. And it also kind of looks like a sword.
It does look like a sword. My kids like to battle with these when they're done eating.
Yeah, they look like a fighting sword.
Yes, they do. So I'm going to put each of these little molds into the holder, which is, this is what helps them stand up to freeze in the freezer. So we'll put all these in here. Perfect. We're going to make a variety. So there's chocolate pudding, vanilla pudding. I mixed together 3 crushed up graham crackers with 2 tablespoons of salted butter that I had melted. So I have like this graham cracker crumb. This is kind of an experiment. I thought we might need that butter to hold the graham cracker crumbs together on the popsicle. Otherwise, once we pull them out of the mold, it'll just fall everywhere. So we're gonna do the buttery graham cracker crust crumbs. Chocolate pudding, we're gonna mix in some marshmallows and chocolate chips. And then we might garnish it on the bottom with some extra marshmallows. So we can layer that all together for the s'mores pudding pops. Okay, so let's start with like a traditional chocolate and vanilla pudding pop. And I think Andrew is sneaking
Handfuls of
something
marshmallows.
behind handfuls of marshmallows, she says. Okay, we need some of those for our pudding pops.
Okay. I'm kind of doing it like a pattern. So every time you're like done with the chocolate, you'll get some vanilla, and then you're like, ooh, chocolate again.
Can you say cheers? Yes, cheers. Okay, try your pudding pop.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You can follow me over on Instagram at Aunt's Family Recipe, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked watching my children and me make some yummy summer frozen treats today. Thank you so much for joining me here in my kitchen, and I'll see you again soon.